A very warm welcome to the Amersham Methodist Circuit YouTube channel and to this Thought for Sunday the 2nd of July 2023. You're welcome. My name is the Revd Adam Wells and I am the Superintendent of the Amersham Circuit of the Methodist Church. Today we're going to give some thought to the person of Peter, Jesus' friend, apostle and disciple. To prepare us, let's sing from Singing the Faith, number 526, Lord of all hopefulness, Lord of all joy. At the close of the hymn, we will have a reading from Matthew's Gospel and chapter 16. Thank you.
The Gospel of Matthew, the 16th chapter, beginning to read at the 13th verse. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, but others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
In many cathedrals in the Church of England, both last Sunday the 25th and this Sunday the 2nd, ordinations will take place for those becoming priests or deacons. In the Methodist Church, We always do our ordinations at about this time of year, when the Methodist Conference takes place. But I hope more significantly, at about the time of year when the Christian Church remembers Peter, friend of Jesus, apostle, disciple. And Peter and his relationship with Jesus should encourage us and challenge us in our own relationship with Jesus. Because Peter is like us, he's so very human. Sometimes he does not quite get it. He generously gave up all things to follow Jesus, yet he can ask in childish self-regard, what are we going to get out of all this? What's in it for me? Matthew 19:27. When Peter is at his most human, he receives the full force of Jesus' anger when he objects to the idea of a suffering Messiah. Get behind me, Satan, says Jesus, and it doesn't get any stronger than that. You are an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. Matthew 16, verse 23b, that's the second part of the verse. Like most of us, sometimes Peter finds it hard to live up to his words. He promises at the Lord's Supper that he will never deny Jesus, and then swears to a servant maid in the high priest's house courtyard that he has never known the man. We cannot fail to be impressed by his enthusiasm and commitment. At the Last Supper, when Jesus washes the disciples' feet, at first Peter cannot handle it. Wash my feet? Jesus replies, unless I wash you, you have no part with me. So that Peter immediately wants his whole body done. John 13 and verse 9. Then, Lord, Simon Peter replied, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Peter it is who with determination steps out onto the water. Peter it is at the Transfiguration who offers to make shelters for Moses and Elijah and also for Jesus. Peter, like many of us, struggles with the scope of Jesus' forgiveness and grace. We can read this into Matthew 18:22, when Peter suggests 7 times and Jesus replies 77 times. Many times when there has been a disaster or a terrible shooting, so very often in the USA, the attitude of those who have been involved is that they want to get revenge upon the person who's done this deed. They're cross and angry. I remember being struck a number of years ago by the forgiveness offered by the families of the victims of those killed in the Methodist Church in Charleston. Because as Christians, they felt they had to offer forgiveness. And yet, at the end of the Gospel of John in chapter 21, it is Peter who receives forgiveness for what he has done. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Says Jesus. Peter replies in the affirmative 3 times to Jesus, each time being told to feed the lambs or the sheep. Peter, who is so human, is very much a leader. He is chosen by Jesus to have a special relationship with him. With James and John, he's privileged to witness the Transfiguration, Matthew 17, 1-9. He's pleased to witness the raising of Jairus' daughter to new life, Mark chapter 5, verses 21-43. And the agony in the Garden of Gethsemane. Peter is one of 3 who go with Jesus. His mother-in-law even, was cured by Jesus. He was sent with John to prepare for the last Passover before Jesus' death. His name is first on every list of apostles. Peter was special, and he challenges us in our humanity, whether and in what ways we are called to serve. Are we going to have his enthusiasm? Are we, like him, not going to be afraid of getting something wrong? Are we, like Peter, going to have the strength, the desire and the endurance to see this thing through? Food for thought on Thought for Sunday. Amen. The only qualification for following Jesus is to want to and to seek him, because you will always find him. 544 is the hymn. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you.